just hit this secondary situation as we know it to be. I think the safeties are pretty much set in stone with Brendan White back at one safety position after coming on late in the season. He'll be back as a junior. Jordan Fuller could have made a jump to the NFL, but decided to come back. He had kind of a nice transitional season, I thought, last year, and now he should be a household name this upcoming season. Those two guys at the safety positions. You would also have the likes of Justin Went, Josh Proctor, perhaps, Isaiah Pryor, and Amir Reep may also be in the running there, and maybe even Marcus Hooker, redshirt freshman from a year ago. So what's your thought maybe about the safety positions? And it looks to me, just on the basis of how White and Fuller played at the end of last year, that they should be the guys, but with Hafley coming in, he's going to want to play the guys who perform the best in practice, I would think.
Well, and we know Brendan White with the whole bullet position now, he'll be at safety. Sometimes he'll be up as a linebacker at other times. So where does this leave? Shaun Wade was the number one strong safety in the spring, so he's involved. Isaiah Pryor was the number one free safety in the spring because Jordan Fuller was out. So we don't really know yet where Fuller is going to, which safety spot he's going to be, but we know he'll be back there. On passing downs, he'll probably be back there with Brendan White, like you said, who was a superb find for them last year. I'm interested to see where Shaun Wade ends up because he led the team in interceptions last year. He was the number one nickel back, started twice at safety last year, or once at safety and then once at nickel. A guy who should be involved quite a bit, even if he's not a starting safety. But I think we both agree there's plenty of guys to work with, plenty of experience. Isaiah Pryor, Jocelyn Went, both have starting experience as well. So there's a number of guys to keep an eye on. And a lot of people think Josh Proctor has more potential than anybody else in that secondary, and we haven't seen him yet. Sophomore from Oklahoma. We'll see maybe if he can make some noise, kind of like maybe Shaun Wade did this year, where you're not the first guy in, but eventually you work your way into the lineup.
Yep, no question about it. Cornerback position, Jeffrey Okudah, Damon Arnett appear to be the starters. Obviously, Kendall Sheffield was there last year, and he bolted for the NFL. To me, both these guys had some tremendous moments at times last year, but there were also times when there were huge letdowns, I think, from the secondary, deep passes that got completed, short passes that turned into huge gains. You mentioned Shaun Wade. I think he's kind of your Swiss Army knife. He could play corner or he could play safety, depending on how they want to line up. You did mention the bullet position with Brendan White being the guy who's been kind of groomed there. And I'm interested to see how many downs, what downs and distances they go to that, what part of the field. I mean, it could be on first down in their own end. They play it one way, first down in the red zone for the opponent. They play at another. And,
because we didn't see it in the spring game. They just stayed with the safeties in the spring game and linebackers.
Yeah, there was no reason to put your scheme on tape for other people. I think at that point, it'll be a case when they get into the season and it's needed to show it and to rep it and to work it. That's when you'll see it. But I like that tandem of Okudah and Arnett. For Arnett, it is a contract year. This is it, your senior year. You need to play very well to justify a high draft pick next year. And I would say the same thing for Okudah and Wade. Honestly, if they play well, they're both NFL eligible after this season, although it'll only be the second year Wade has played because he was injured the first year. But I think all three of those guys are just tremendous, tremendous talents if they put it all together. I want to see Tyreek Johnson, very hyped guy a year ago, a national top 100 prospect, but really didn't play last year. Seven Banks, he got into some games. Is he a corner? Where's he fit into this? Cameron Brown, will he be available? All these guys. The true freshman, I don't necessarily see where any of the true freshmen are going to make a run here. Ronnie Hickman, I think, is coming off of an injury. Bryson Shaw might be a redshirt type guy. So I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. But they are too deep at every position, it appears to me. And if I had to give this secondary a grade, I would say B with a potential for a B plus or an A minus. I know in the Phil Steele unit rankings, he's got Michigan as the number one ranked secondary in the Big Ten, with Ohio State second. So that's high praise that you're in the top two in the Big Ten. And, now we'll see if they live up to that type of a lofty ranking, or if they go through the same type of problems that they had a good part of last season.